video so that your voice clarity improves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I can see some people are already in the waiting room, which is good. So how many people we have? Pretty good. 11, that's not bad. But 11 is us mostly, so. Okay, but yeah, so at least these two, because last time it. Okay, but so at least these two, because last time it.
Hi there, everyone. So we're just waiting for the participants to join, and then we'd wait for 5 more minutes, a bit of delay from our end. I would just expect some more participants to join, post which we shall start off with the discussion. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I would just request everyone to turn off their microphone so that there's no specific glitch while we are having this session. So again, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all of you. I'm Yash Pandey, your career advisor at Nuovos by Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University. Hope you all are enjoying this weekend. We really appreciate your time and interest on this Sunday and promise that this session is going to be very exciting and informative for everyone that has joined and has taken that initiative to spend some time learning about what exactly is it that we have to offer. So let me first brief you a bit about Nuovos. Nuovos is a modern day extension of the Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University, offering future-friendly educational programs for the trailblazers, risk takers, and the dreamers and doers of tomorrow. Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University belongs to the reputable D.Y. Patil group of institutions and is known for fostering innovation. With a legacy of 38 plus profound years, we represent the D.Y. Patil group. The group encompasses the fields of education, healthcare, agriculture, and sports. But before we get into the discussions and move ahead with coming around and discussing all the intricacies and minute details of the platform that we have and the programs that we are supposed to discuss, which basically would be the MBA programs, as you already understand, let's have a quick look at the video to understand Nuovos in a much better way.
97 million sounds like a big number, and it is, because that's the number of jobs that tech is expected to create by 2025. But let's rewind, shall we? Back to the now that is working in collaboration with AI in the workplace, the now that is leading businesses through digitalization, because the now is where you create the new. Because only when you learn, you can create. And at Nuovos by ADYPU, we help you find a platform that lets you lead the change. Whether it be through tech-driven programs that let you find your specialization or management learnings that can let you lead the world. Start today and find the path that lets you choose your future. ADYPU Nuovos, where you create the new. Open for admissions now.
Oh, so that was really informative, right? I mean, there definitely has been certain changes which we've brought and the status quo that we have challenged and incorporated some innovations with respect to the current latest trends, technologies, requirements, and demands in the market, in the industry. So today we are here to discuss a little more about our MBA programs in detail, whether MBA is worth a degree, whether you actually should move ahead and get yourself enrolled with an MBA program. That really is going to be the main point of discussion that we are having today. Well, if you are preparing to enter the competitive business world of today, we believe it is really worth a qualification, because MBA definitely gives you an ample number of opportunities to learn and understand how exactly is it that a business functions. What are the intricate requirements? What are the minute details, which is really very important for any person to have a pretty good understanding of a business as an entity. So what you can do with an MBA? Well, an MBA will offer you a wealth of advantages, especially when it's from a well-regarded business school. Getting a high salary after your MBA is one of the prime concerns and motives for all the students. Landing into a management position, developing a strong professional network, or even becoming your own boss are just a few of the fancy advantages that students for MBA programs aspire these days. Well, you guys, I'm sure of, they definitely want to know a little more about the requirements and the current trends and prospects with the MBA qualifications. We definitely have many reasons as in why everyone who actually has completed his bachelor degree is a fresher or has some amount of work experience should definitely go for an MBA qualification. So as of now, I would just request all the attendees to post all your queries into the chat box. As of now, we won't be discussing these questions and doubts from your end, but once we start off with the Q&A by the end of the session, I'll definitely take upon all the questions one after the other. Without wasting any more time, let's begin the discussion. I would definitely want to take this opportunity to introduce our program leaders for management, Mr. Dr. Nicholas Snowden. Now, Dr. Snowden has held diverse positions at Hull University of Business School as an academic director for MBA, and he is about to join Bradford University as MBA director in September. Congratulations to you, sir. Next, we have Dr. Piotr Konwicki, who is the program leader for MBA Financial Technology, MBA FinTech. He is a highly experienced personnel and has worked as a senior lecturer at the University of West London, as well as the University of Bedfordshire. Welcome, sir. Thanks for taking out time on the weekend to interact with all the attendees here who are curious to know about how MBA programs can help them build their careers and what's unique about our MBA programs. We request you to share a little brief about your specific programs. I would just want to begin with Dr. Piotr. Sir, any thoughts, any discussions that you would want to share, your insights about the conventional finance and FinTech, financial technology industry? Piotr, sir, I guess there's a bit of glitch into network issues from your end. Could you please just turn off your video and try again? Just to take a hold of you, sir, pardon for interrupting. I guess you're facing some network issues from your end. I would just want you to spend some time engaging and checking upon your network connectivity. Meanwhile, I would ask Dr. Nicholas to actually move ahead with the MBA professional discussions. Dr. Nick, it's over to you now. We'll engage Piotr, sir, in the coming 5-10 minutes.
Thanks, Yash. Yes, yeah. I mean, I've been involved in MBA programs for a long time now, and it was really quite exciting to get involved with ADYPU and Nuovos to design this new program that we're offering today. My part of the MBA suite is sorry. I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. I think there's interference from other microphones perhaps, but yeah. So my involvement started pretty much towards the start of the whole idea of developing these management MBAs with ADYPU, and so my role is to look after the MBA professional program, which has two strands to it, two variants. We have the creative leadership strand, and we have the digital business strand. So these programs share common elements. They share time with both cohorts, both groups, and with some of the other MBA cohorts that are on the ADYPU campus. Which is a really good thing, because one of the when you look at the marketing information on what MBA students want from their MBAs and what they view as being one of the most important things that they gain when they look back at their MBA experience is networking. And so we've created a program that integrates with many others, not only at home in India, but also overseas. When certainly the MBA Pro students will get the opportunity to study in Dubai and mix with a truly international cohort of students while studying over there. In terms of content, the program itself, an MBA, there's a phrase, I don't know whether we use it in India the same as we use it in the UK, but an MBA has to do what it says on the tin. And what we mean by that is that there are certain things that every MBA needs to have. We know what those are. I'm practiced in what those are because when we go for the accreditations by international bodies, so AMBA, AACSB, and other similar high-ranking organizations that look at the program and assess whether it's a good program in itself. There has to be certain things in there. So there has to be things like leadership, there has to be strategy, has to be marketing, certain amount of applied economics, finance, all these things you would expect and must have in an MBA. Where we're different at ADYPU is we have these specializations in a range of cutting edge market leading industries, market-leading in industries that are really growing quickly. So yeah, my part of that suite of programs is the MBA Pro, the MBA Professional, and we have as I said before, a creative leadership option, which will make up a chunk of the program towards the end of the 2 years that you'll be with us. Essentially, we're looking at how to make organizations agile, make them capable of changing really, really quickly. And so in that strand of the MBA, we look at that in much more detail in the creative leadership side. In the digital business side, one of the other things that organizations in these days are really struggling to find is leaders who have a broad understanding, a grasp, a clear overview of what it means to go digital. And so in that strand of the MBA Pro, we look at how any sort of process within organizations can be digitalized, what the impact is. More specifically, given that this is an MBA, more specifically, it's about how we manage the people and processes that are involved in that digitization. And so you don't need to be an expert in digital technology, because as managers, as an MBA graduate, we would expect you to be managing the people that are doing these things, that are actually performing the task of going digital, more so than actually doing it themselves. So I'm happy to talk in a bit more detail about those if anybody's got any specific questions. For now,
there are lots and lots of questions for you. So, if you see and if you would have understood about India as a developing country, right? I mean, taking into consideration the humongous population size that we have and the massive competition that students are having in terms of bagging into premium jobs or even regular conventional job opportunities. Definitely, return on investment is something which is of prime concern to we Indians as aspiring students, and in fact, the parents and the family members, right? And definitely, there definitely has been a market for the conventional MBA programs like a general MBA into finance or marketing or HR or operations. Now, with the coming years, new trends in business analytics have come up, right? So, how is it that we could justify our students in terms of the return on investment and the future prospects that MBA professional could bring into their career opportunities?
Yeah. So yes, when one of the key measures for MBA programs is how much they add to, on average, to the starting salary of participants, and that can be really important. And I mean, obviously, the range of figures involved are huge, but almost without exception across all MBAs in wherever you take them, there is a positive impact on the starting salary that you would obtain having got an MBA, as opposed to starting with an undergraduate degree. However, I think the real benefit of an MBA is not always as much to do. It's very nice to get an increased starting salary, but it's actually the impact that it has on your career prospects and the speed at which you are able to move up the ladder. I mean, I have been teaching recently with a guy who started his own business, joined the MBA program, was, I have to say, not a particularly high performing student, but he'd hit on a really good idea with his business and was able to sell his business on for substantial profit. Wealthy guy, and so he's now gone into he wants to be a serial startup owner, and so he stopped doing the MBA as he was going through the sale, but has now rejoined. So he's got his success, he's got his money from selling his business, but actually he wants to come back and complete his MBA. And the reason is that he says, whenever you go in front of investors, whenever you go and try to pitch your idea to, it might be an angel investor, it might be a bank, whoever it is, the MBA gives you credibility. It means you can talk their language. You understand the language of business. You understand the importance of strategy, the importance of the different dimensions of business of management linking together into a coherent picture. And so, the MBA is a real enabler for a career path, and it's very flexible. It can be all sorts of career paths, but it makes it easier to make the steps that typically we want to make to progress higher up organizations to progress, make more successful businesses of our own. So it's you know, as I say, it's a real enabler for career progression and salary progression, and people who are already successful, even they recognize the need to continue and build a portfolio of skills that is that allows them to interact with people that ultimately make the difference between success and failure in organizational life, as well as in entrepreneurial life.
Sure, sir, sure. I guess there are a few questions for me as well. So a student is asking, I mean, what is exactly that we would be covering into their second semesters at DMU? So guys, would just give you a brief about that. So the main things that would be covered is strategic management. The second would be leadership and culture in organizational context. I would request everyone to turn off their microphones. Yes, if possible, everybody should turn off their microphone. Yes.
I just wanted to actually add something to what Nick sir said.
Okay.
So I would request him to add his comments in the chat box itself, because we can't hear you properly, Piotr sir.
Yeah, so Piotr sir, it would be much better if all the questions and the doubts that students ask you in relation to MBA FinTech, you could answer that into the chat itself. So the students want to know about what exactly would be the course curriculum that would be covered into their second semesters at DMU Dubai. So it generally is bifurcated into 4 segments. The first is strategic management. Second is leadership and culture in organizational contexts. Third is project management. And the fourth one is sustainable business, which basically caters to how is it possible for you to make and optimize and sustain any specific businesses that you enter or your own business that you start up. The second question that I would like to take over here is the students want to understand whether there actually would be any specific support from ADYPU and DMU for their internships during the time span that they spend at Dubai. So yes, we definitely will help all the students who enter into this MBA professional program to bag in some internship options at Dubai itself, wherein you are expected to work for the companies in the normal office work hours in the daytime, and your classes, your lectures would be arranged for you guys late in the evening once you're done with your work. Job opportunities, guys. I mean, every specific segment of the market that you can imagine, every industry that you guys would have come up, any specific multinational corporate or a startup working into any direction, any segment catering to maybe a business or a customer, every specific area is being catered and taken care of by any MBA programs. So an MBA graduate, be it he is a finance major, is equally eligible and applicable to work for a marketing profile. A guy who is into marketing can work for a finance profile, because the first year of every MBA program is generally a conventional, general, common course curriculum, which gives you a brief of all the segments of the market. So any industry, any specific work profile that you want to enter, it's easily possible for you guys to enter. And yes, we cater to all the placement opportunities to the best MNCs and the budding up startup companies that India is having these days. All right. Moving on next, I guess there's one more question for Nick sir. Well, the guy says that he's working as a senior developer and is really interested and looking forward for the MBA Pro program. But how is it that his skills that he's currently having as a software senior developer would complement depending upon the qualifications and the knowledge that he gains from this program? from the MBA professional program, sir?
Thanks. Yes, you actually answered that question yourself. In reality, with what you've just said, because you know, an MBA is a general. Typically, it's a general, or certainly half of the program is a general program, giving you the skills that you need to perform in any sector, in leadership roles. Yes, it's useful. I mean, and in this guy's situation, his knowledge of what goes on in the tech sector will make his step into technology leadership roles more straightforward, a smoother transition. But you know what he'll learn, what he will get from an MBA is beyond the technical. It's beyond the nuts and bolts of what that organization does, and it's about leading people. Now he will understand more about what those people do, which will be an advantage. You know, in programs like Piotr's, you know, that the students will learn a lot more about FinTech, that will enable them to understand the roles of the people that they lead better. But we would not, you know, we would hope that our students become adaptable and flexible enough, and the program's designed to make you adaptable and flexible and comfortable with what you don't understand and don't know so much about. You know, good leaders are not good leaders don't have all the answers. Good leaders are good listeners, and they see the strengths in the people that they lead, and facilitate them. You know, they allow them to work. So for someone that's already got a technical background in a particular subject area, topic area, an MBA is frequently what helps them to make the step from being someone that maybe leads a team of programmers, or I forget what you said the guy did, but it allows them to take the step from being a leader of a team of people that do the same as he does, to being a leader of those team leaders and making strategic decisions, solving more complex problems. And you know, the technical expertise that he will have built up through his early part of his career will be useful as a foothold in a particular industry. Doesn't mean that he couldn't take those skills elsewhere, and be a leader in a different context.
Thanks so much, sir. Thank you, Dinesh, sir. So the next question that the student has asked is that we actually have come across all the universities and colleges providing an MBA finance specialization. What exactly is this FinTech specialization? I mean, what technology is associated with financial technology that is being provided off over here? I would request Piotr sir to answer this question to the chat itself. However, being a finance graduate, I actually feel that I have certain amount of skills to actually focus upon the doubts. So guys, let's go into practicality. 2.5 years down the line, when we actually had started off with this pandemic phase, right? It was March 2020 when lockdown was announced. I mean, I'm sure in UK as well, it was the same time span, 1 or 2 months in advance, or maybe before that the pandemic lockdown would have been announced. So initially, there was a certain amount of dependency that all the people had on hard cash for making their payments. I'm sure all the students, all the people, parents would have visited an ATM machine where they put inside their cards and they would have drawn some cash for making any specific payments. But in the pandemic phase, for the past 2.5 years, there definitely was a tremendous decline during the payment options that people catered, because cash was not readily available. People were not ready to go out and draw some cash, right? They started making payments through UPI. They started making payments through NEFT, RTGS, through all the online mediums that was possible. And that's one reason why the financial technology, the FinTech industry showed the maximum growth during this pandemic phase, when all the industries were showing a downfall and incurring losses, where the economies were hit really bad, right? These were a selected set of companies like FinTech, FoodTech, health tech, and EdTech, etc., which were doing really great. And as you see, 2.5 years again down the line, India actually was ranked one when it came to the maximum number of online internet-based payments in the entire. When you compare India with all the nations in the world, of course, I mean, we have a strong back for the one of the biggest populations in amongst all the countries. But irrespective of that, the number of payments per individual was highest. And that's one reason why we realized that it's high time for us to make some amends into the conventional finance business, initiate and integrate some technology, so that the coming sector of financial technology, which we expected to have a boom for at least the next 15-20 years down the line, could be catered. You have Google Pay, you have Paytm, you have many more online payment opportunities and options who are readily available to pay any amount of money the moment you are into credible hands, the moment you have those technical skills and specifications to provide them with their financial technology solutions. So financial technology is nothing but 90% of the conventional finance qualifications that a student is expected to have. You can never expect a student to be complacent with financial technology unless he is good at financial accounting. He's good at his corporate accounting. He's good at cost accounting. He knows the basics of how a ledger is made, how a balance sheet is done, how is it that journal entries are done. So all the basics which was there into finance is definitely being catered over here. It is just that we have integrated the current technologies which the financial industry is coming up with and is expected to incorporate in the coming years. Because conventional finance will always be there, but this is the financial technology which is a much more niche expertise that we could provide you, and they definitely provide you with an upper edge when you compare yourself to all the graduates with a conventional finance degree. I know it was a nice answer from my end. I'm sure I would have opened quite good eyes for you guys, but yes, we have our dignitaries over here. Dr. Nick is again being engaged with a beautiful question. Dr. Nick, the student wants to ask that the market is evolving really very fast. I mean, 20, 30 years before, a specific technology, if it used to come, it used to stay for at least a decade or 15 years. But now within every 3, 4, 5 years, the latest technologies are becoming obsolete, right? And there definitely is not a good amount of time span that a student could actually project, depending upon the qualifications that he attains today, and would expect to capitalize or monetize upon that in the next 20, 30 years of his career. So how is it that we as a platform cater to the fast changing trends and the current scenarios that could expect into removal or complete change in the technologies that we provide, the knowledge that we provide, and the student could capitalize on?
Thanks, Yash. I can answer this in one word, really. It's learning. And you know, there is one skill that stands out above all others if you want to succeed in a VUCA world, a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world, which is what we're dealing with now, and that's the ability to learn. And you know, with the FinTech MBA and the MBA Pro, given that Piotr and I have been able to design these programs from ground up, yes, there's important content in there, and there are skills that we teach within both programs that will help you to adapt to the next big thing, as well as the skills and the content that's relevant to the current big things, the FinTech and technology, digitalization trends. But the most important thing that we've embedded into both these programs is a focus on learning to learn. And it's integrated into every module. The modules, the way you will learn will be different. You may well be uncomfortable with some of it. It may make you wonder, why am I doing this in this way? I'm not, it's not a traditional classroom. Why do I seem to be doing all the research instead of the doctor, the professor telling me what the right answer is? And the reason is that Piotr and I have discussed this at length many times and recognize that the most important thing that we can impart to our students is this ability to continue to learn long after they've left ADYPU, long after formal education is behind them. This ability to learn from different contexts, different approaches, and to learn to adapt to the next big thing is that gives some longevity to the value that we add through the MBA programs. So we've been lucky to be able to do that and to build that that learning skill into the program, rather than just focus on the content, which is important, no doubt about it, but equally important is this recognition that the content of today will be out of date tomorrow. It might not be actually. I'm going to caveat that because it might, there will be something added to it. When we study management, we do look back. We can look back 100 years, and we can still learn from the pioneers of management that came up with Taylorism, the sort of very mechanistic way of organizing work. It wasn't invented, it was sort of recognized back in the early 1900s. And we can still learn from that today, but what's happened as we've continued over time is that we've added to that. We've developed new approaches that contribute, and in some cases replace those skills. And if you're good at learning, if we can open minds and make allow you to be more accepting of new ideas, willing to try new approaches, then we will have done our job. And that's why we embed that into the programs that we've designed.
Sure, sir, sure. So, what I could decipher from the insights that you shared is that in order to capitalize upon the opportunities throughout your career, you need to stay relevant, students. Everyone,
Yeah.
You need to stay relevant. You have to be relevant with the current requirements of the market. And in order to stay relevant, you have to keep incorporating the new techniques and technologies. And so you have to learn throughout your career. So the secret to relevance is to learn throughout your career. You can never stop learning. I'm sure, I mean, Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Piotr are veterans into MBA education. They have quite some good amount of experience throughout their, I mean, they have dedicated their entire life to definitely providing and making sure that an amazing level of management skills is being provided to students. Still, I'm sure whenever they get time, they definitely would be reading a couple of books or maybe browsing upon certain websites to check for latest current trends and technologies into the industry. I, as your moderator for today, I mean, I'm still very young in front of them. I'm still just a fresh chick who has come out of an egg and is trying to fight with the world to maybe make a mark. Still, I also whenever I get some time, whenever I get a good amount of time, I still make sure that I engage and keep learning the new latest trends and technologies into the industry. So it's very important for everyone. You cannot expect to have an MBA qualification for 2 years of your life and that degree to incorporate your capitalization and monetization and your maintaining your financials throughout your life. You have to be in pace with the market. Either you would adapt to the world or the world would remove you. That is the exact truth.
Sorry, yeah. Piotr is making the point in the chat there that he's talking about some of the financial principles are hundreds, if not thousands, of years old, and those basics are always going to be useful, but we by learning to learn, we allow ourselves, as you say, to remain relevant. And it takes a certain mindset to be able to do that. It's not, once you've got your certificate, once you've got your degree, your scroll saying I've got an MBA. It's a great feeling, but that is not the end. And Piotr, makes that point, that we haven't we learn from the past, but we need to add to it to keep fresh and keep relevant, and hopefully that's what we enable you to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you so much, Nick, sir. So finally, there's one question that is being asked every now and then by students, that how exactly is it that the unconventional or the niche programs for MBA, which is the MBA Pro and MBA FinTech being offered by Nuovos, are definitely going to provide an upper edge when compared to the conventional MBA programs, which is into finance, marketing, HR, or operations. Nick, I would want you to take this answer, but take this question. But Piotr, if you have any thoughts and insights, I would also request you to post an answer for this into the chat box.
Yeah. So what makes the ADYPU MBAs different? How do we set ourselves apart, I think, is the crux of the problem there. The crux of the question there. And, it is through the design of the program. Piotr, in the chat there a little bit earlier on, I think, talked about the integration, the network of contacts that you'll make. If you look at the skills that that employers struggle to find and are in high demand, we both programs have integrated those into their program design. So the employers are looking for ability to use digital technology to promote businesses. They're looking for the ability to teach others, to be the person leading others. They're looking for the ability to use financial data to help them make decisions, big data analysis. So we are ensuring that our students have a comprehensive coverage of all these skills that and specific knowledge that employers want. That sometimes, the other MBA programs are can offer us that content themselves. What they can't do is offer the level of integration with different mindsets from different programs. My experience of MBAs is that many of the programs don't do what we're doing, which is focusing on this building of skills as much as focusing on the building of sort of content knowledge. So we have a string of modules running through the whole of the MBA, which integrate with the content that's being delivered, but they're actually very much focused on the sort of generic skills, the soft skills in particular, that employers really want. This ability to network, ability to actually to tell stories about brands, this ability to solve problems, to think differently. Those things are, because the way we will deliver is so diverse. It's not all lecturer talking at students. There'll be lots of different ways where students will do presentations, where there'll be live problem solving. There'll be lots of case studies. There'll be using problem solving techniques, using creativity techniques. So it's the mode in which we teach as much as the content. The content can be replicated by other people without doubt, but to integrate that content with the diverse way in which we are teaching is, it's something that Piotr and I have been able to develop over our careers, and it's not easy to replicate, frankly. It's not easy to copy. So, that we firmly believe that the ADYPU programs will be different as much through how we deliver and the skills that you develop because of the way that we deliver and teach the program, not necessarily because of the content itself. Did that answer the question, Yash? I'm not. You're on mute, Yash.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So thank you so much, Nick sir. Piotr sir shared some thoughts on the questions that Nick sir had answered quite some time back. I just want to read it out to you guys. So the first question was that of the software developer who wanted to have an opportunity and what exactly would be the skills that he would attain, for which Piotr sir writes that, just a second. Yes. So moreover, in addition to knowledge, what counts is also a network of contacts. Now, sir had an MBA from London Business School where he worked at Deutsche Bank as an investment banker. He used his LBS contacts to work on a transaction in Romania. People talked to him because he approached them as graduates from the same business school, but not because he worked with the Deutsche Bank. Similarly, MBA FinTech also has very much people like software developers And this definitely is not a program which offers you technical skills, since you already are having your sets of technical skills and the possibilities to move into management. But it definitely caters and provides you a strong management and the required skills to maybe make sure that you, irrespective of the fact that you have been a technical person throughout your life, you also attain some insights to make sure that a business which is functioning is doing it the right way, wherein you actually could also amalgamate your software developer technical skills with financial industry and financial products to enter into a particular specific domain, which requires both the skills from your management point of view, which you learned during your MBA, and also your developer point of view, which you did during your engineering phase. Finally, for people who asked that if in case they are not a technical person, they don't have a technical bachelor degree qualification, how would MBA FinTech program work for these guys? So for them, people without detailed sources, people without detailed technical skill, MBA FinTech will definitely work. It offers a lot of modules aimed at creating your understanding of finance, but we are not turning you into a software developer, but a person who will connect the dots, will have enough understanding of technical aspects plus knowledge of customers and what the market needs. Taken together, you can come up with products which will meet the need of customers. FinTech and Pro will share many modules precisely to expand your network of contacts so that you will not stay in your bubble only. To add to a continuous learning, MBA programs existed 20 years ago, but Facebook did not. So lifelong learning is the key. The content may be, but analytical frameworks will stay. In finance, the first options, derivatives, date back to Sumerian times. Futures were actively traded in Amsterdam in the 17th century. So what he wants to say is that finance has always been there. I mean, it is not only an MBA where you learn about finance, or maybe a BCom or a BBA where you learn about finance. Finance is a part of human lives, and everyone, whether he's a learned man or he is not an educated person, definitely has a contact with finances. I mean, definitely, if your mom is a homemaker, she is not the one who is actually going out and making money, but she is the one who is responsible for managing a household's financial expenses, right? Finance is already existing. It's a part of our lives, but changing and incorporating with the current requirements of the industry is what we have done. We have challenged the entire system of managerial education in our country. We have asked the questions as in, why is it that we only should cater to the conventional management qualifications and not the exact new requirements or the niche segments of the market which we have backed on and are expected to have a massive boom and massive growth in the coming trends and the coming years. That's the main reason why we at Nuovos exist. We definitely didn't want to enter into a conventional or an already existing platform where we have many players. I mean, you guys would come across ample number of options, ample number of universities and colleges providing you with an MBA finance or MBA marketing or MBA HR, etc. operations qualification. But when it comes to MBA financial technology, I guess there are only 2 institutes in India who are currently providing of this qualification. MBA professional, we've never seen. Digital business, I myself have personally never come across any institute or university providing you with this particular justification or qualification. So these are certain new aspects of the market which definitely would take some time for you guys to understand. But yes, you do not have all the time. So with this, we come to the end of this session. I would request all the members who have certain questions in mind could again type it into the chat box so that I could personally answer these questions. As per your question to the selection process that we at Nuovos are having, we have a test which basically would be a postgraduate PGAT test that you guys are expected to take through an online medium of instruction. Post you clear this test, you are expected to have an interview with our academics team. Your cumulative score would be prepared, and if you qualify, you are provided off with an offer letter to join the academy. For specific details, for specific requirements, all inquiries regarding registrations, doubts, etc., I would be showing you off the points of contact that you can have from our end. We have a number on our website to which you guys could call. And if you guys are lucky enough, I would be the one who would pick up your call personally, or else we have Ishan who would pick up your call. We have some more persons in our counseling team who would cater to your needs and requirements. We would answer your call. We are available throughout the day, every day, without a gap for your issues, for your queries. So Shikha, I would just want you to share your screen wherein students could see the pages that we are having, the addresses, the phone numbers that we are having. We are available on all the social media platform, guys. We are available on LinkedIn. We are available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. We have all the fan following pages that you guys could subscribe to and get to check upon the latest offerings from us, latest technologies from us, latest requirements, latest upcoming events from our end. And yes, the number which is mentioned on the screen, get in touch, 912-9898-912 is the one where you are expected to call us. It was a really nice afternoon of this Sunday, and I'm sure whatever insights that we got, whatever questions that were answered, whatever things that were discussed, definitely would have brought about certain changes in the perspective that you guys would have, right? So before we wind up, this definitely is not a goodbye from us. Instead, I would expect you guys to contact us so that we could have some engagement, some interactions wherein a personal level connect could be made so that I could guide you, take some better decisions of your life, where I would help you understand what exactly is that you are expected to do, what exactly is it that you actually are required to do for, in order to be eligible for, or maybe capable for attending the coming processes with us. We are gradually about to close our admission process in the coming 1 or 2 weeks. So time is something which is a constraint, of course. We also have to cater to the requirements of De Montfort University with whom we have a tie-up, as they also have their programs beginning very soon. So I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a really overwhelming feeling for me, a really humbled down feeling for me. Thank you so much. In the end of the day, it's all because of Dr. Nick and Dr. Snowden, and Dr. Piotr, that we actually could get these thoughts from your end. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Thanks again for joining us and making this an engaging session. Hope to see you soon. Till then, take care, be safe, and bye.